My name is Harold Jenkins, and I'm 86 years old. I sit here in this old armchair by the window, the one with the faded blue cushion that's seen better days. The light comes in slanted this time of afternoon, catching the dust in the air. It's quiet now, except for the clock on the mantel ticking away. I don't know why I'm recording this, really. Maybe because the days feel shorter, and there's this weight in my chest that won't lift. 15 years. That's how long it's been since any of my 7 children came through that door. I remember when the house was full. Back in the 60s, after the war, I worked long hours at the mill, coming home to the smell of Evelyn's cooking, pot roast on Sundays, always with extra gravy for the little ones. We had them one after another, Mary first, then the boys, Thomas, Robert, little Eddie, who was always running into things. The girls came later, Susan and Clara, and finally Benjamin, the quiet one. The table was crowded, chairs scraping, voices overlapping. I'd sit at the head, tired but proud, thinking this was what a man builds, a family that sticks. But things shifted slow, like the way seasons change without you noticing until the leaves are gone. Evelyn got sick in '85, the cancer eating at her from the inside. I was there every day at the hospital, holding her hand, but the kids, they had their own lives by then. Mary was in Chicago with her job. Thomas had the twins to chase after. They'd call, send cards, but visits were sparse. When Evelyn passed, the funeral was cold, rain soaking through our coats. I stood by the grave, watching them hug each other, then drift back to their cars. I thought it'd pull us closer, loss like that. But it didn't. Years blurred after. I'd call on birthdays, hear the rush in their voices, work meetings, school runs, always something. "We'll come soon, Dad," they'd say. I sent Christmas cards with a $20 bill tucked inside for the grandkids I barely knew. One summer I drove to Robert's place unannounced, 3 hours on the highway with my bad knee aching. He opened the door, surprised, kids peeking from behind. We sat on the porch, talked about the weather, his promotion, but there was this distance, like a pane of glass between us. I left early, the drive back feeling longer. It's the small things that stick now, replaying in the quiet. Like the time Eddie called late one night, maybe 10 years ago, his voice thick. He was going through a divorce, needed to talk. I listened, but then I said something about pulling himself together like I did after the mill layoffs. He went quiet, hung up soon after. Or Clara, when she lost her job, I wired money, but didn't ask how she felt, just told her to keep applying. I thought that's what fathers do. Provide. Fix things. But maybe I missed the part where you just sit with the hurt. 15 years. The phone rings less these days. Benjamin sent a text last month, something about being busy with the move. I stare at old photos on the wall, their weddings, graduations, faces smiling back. The house echoes now, rooms gathering dust. I walk through them sometimes, remembering laughter that faded. It's like I built walls without meaning to, brick by brick, with all the unsaid words. The sun's dipping lower now, shadows stretching across the floor. I wonder what they'd say if they heard this, but I suppose it doesn't matter anymore. Time has a way of slipping, leaving you with echoes. If you're listening, maybe just sit with it a while. Tell me what you remember from your own quiet moments. I keep the old rotary phone on the side table, the one with the long cord that used to tangle around the kitchen legs when the kids were small. It still works, though the ring is softer now, like it's tired too. Sometimes I pick it up just to hear the dial tone, then put it back. Last Christmas, I left a message on Mary's voicemail. "Just checking in," I said. The snow came early this year. She never called back. I don't blame her exactly. Life moves fast when you're raising kids of your own, running a house, holding down work. I did the same once. But knowing that doesn't make the quiet any lighter. There was one afternoon, maybe 8 years ago, when Susan drove down unexpectedly. She had the boys with her, my grandsons, though they felt like strangers. They were 12 and 14 then, tall already, eyes on their phones most of the time. We sat in the living room. I offered lemonade, the kind Evelyn used to make with real lemons. Susan talked about her new job, the commute, how expensive everything was. I nodded, asked questions, but mostly I watched her face, looking for the little girl who used to climb into my lap after supper. She wasn't there anymore. Not really. When they left, she hugged me quick at the door. "We'll come again soon," she said. The car backed out, tires crunching gravel. I stood on the porch until the taillights disappeared around the bend. That was the last time any of them crossed the threshold. The nights are the longest. I lie in the bed that used to hold two, staring at the ceiling cracks that look like rivers on a map. I think about the arguments we had. Small ones, mostly. Like when Thomas wanted to quit college and join the service. I told him he was throwing his future away. He went anyway, came back harder, quieter. We never really mended that. Or the time Clara wanted to move to California with that boy I didn't trust. I said no money if she went. She stayed, married someone else, but the resentment settled in like damp in the walls. I thought I was protecting them, protecting the family. Instead, I was building distance, one stern word at a time. I see now how much I held back, how I never said I miss you when they moved away. Never told them the house felt empty without their noise. Never admitted I was scared, scared of being alone, scared they'd see I wasn't the strong father anymore. Pride kept my mouth shut. And time kept moving. The lamp flickers a little, bulb's going. I should replace it, but what's the point when the room stays dim anyway? I keep their pictures turned toward me on the dresser, 7 faces, frozen at different ages. Sometimes I talk to them in the dark, not out loud. Just in my head. I should have listened more. I should have driven to you instead of waiting. But the words stay inside, where they've always been. It's getting harder to get up some mornings. The knees complain, the back too. I shuffle to the kitchen, make coffee the same way I always did, black, no sugar. Sit at the table that used to be loud with spoons and chatter. Now it's just me and the steam rising slow. 15 years is a long silence, long enough that I'm not even angry anymore. Just heavy, like carrying a sack I can't put down. If you're still here listening, thank you. It means something that someone heard this, even if it's a stranger's voice on a screen. Maybe you recognize a piece of it in your own life. The things left unsaid. The doors that closed softer than they should have. If it stirs anything in you, you're welcome to leave a word or two below. Or just sit with it. That's enough.